King Crimson. This is an artist that I've got to be honest, kind of baffles me. Because in one respect, they have an album like In the Court of King Crimson, which may have or may not have, might or mightn't have started prog rock as we know it, or as we would come to know it. Then my only other impression really of them is two different songs that I've heard Fripp, Adrian Belew cover, or lead, right? Mate Kudasai, which is actually the very first King Crimson song I ever heard, and to date stands as my favorite. It's a song that I have returned to a ton. But then there was what I think Elephant Man or Elephant Walk. I forget the song, the name right now, but it was a wildly different sound from Mate Kudasai and the songs found on In the Court of King Crimson. Elephant Talk, thank you. I knew it was one of those things. So yeah, my impressions are thus far kind of varied. With that said, it seems appropriate that we would get into King Crimson's album Red. Not too long ago, we held an album election where the Rooskies, the greater YouTube community, nominated a whole bunch of albums. After listening to the #1 album, Songs in the Key of Life by Stevie Wonder, these were the next albums that made the most likely sense. Tonight, we feature King Crimson's album Red and XTC's album Skylarking. Now, King Crimson is an artist that many people asked me to return to, and apparently this is the album that they wanted me to return to the most. King Crimson is like 6 different bands, and apparently, yes, I'm doing both tonight. Now, just because as I'm aware, the album proper is going to be the first 5 songs, so that's what I'm going to be listening to in this particular listen. That's how I've consistently done my listens. So, I try to get as close to as possible, what you might have as a youngster who bought this on vinyl and dropped a needle on it. This album is the first album to feature Bill Buford of Yes fame on drums. Okay, love to hear it. That's Larks to Agus and Aspic. Okay, so perhaps not. As always, we have the context crew. I would love it if you on YouTube have some context. Let me know. Provide me the context. This is exciting because, again, King Crimson is an artist that I've excitedly dug into. Discipline rather is the album I think that has Mate Kudasai, and that's an album I think Fripp is on, and honestly, that's the one I'm kind of the most excited to get to. But here we are. Guys, I have to ask, because this is a music discovery stream, have you heard this album before, or are you raw dogging with me? Are you jumping into this thing for the first time? This was basically the first album to blend prog rock and metal, but there's not too much context you need. It's a crazy and revolutionary album. This is exciting to me. Guys, this is exciting. So yeah, guys, tell me, are you a first timer or, have you listened before? Guys, I'm gonna hit the play button. Before I do, it's very important to me that you know that you are awesome, that you are valuable, that you are important, that you matter, that you are deserving of love, and that I am abundantly grateful for even a moment of your time. If you like what you see, feel free to hit the like and the subscribe button. It goes a long way to help me out. If you really like what you see, leave a comment. I would love to hear from you, or join us on Kick or Twitch. I stream every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Arizona time, and I know I speak for all of us when I say we would love to have you by. Come hang out with us. Come discover music with us. Guys, without further ado, let's hop into Red here. A classic album, and helps if you're trying to get into Tool. Okay, great, because I am. I am actively getting into Tool right now. Guys, without further ado, opening up with the title track, Red, King Crimson. Here we go. Whoa. Is there lyrics that I need? The drums. And what is the lineup of this band? Where's Garrett? Oh, wow. Okay. Thank you, Garrett. So this is just a trio, huh? Huh. So the other rendition, the very first rendition of King Crimson that I heard, that had, what, 4 or 5 members? Sorry, I'm burping. I had I ate a giant piece of meat for dinner. The bass right here, you have these wailing, and then you've got this kind of sound. It's like this bass run, there's this really lovely classic crunch to the guitar tone to it, and I don't know if this is like the guitar, like I don't know if this is getting into the Friptronics kind of stuff yet, or if this is just him like plugging a guitar into an amplifier and just going ham with it, right? Like, I don't know what kind of what the gear setup is. If you have any context on the gear setup, we are gear nerds here in the Rooskies. Please give me the context that you have. This is ripping. And to know that it's a trio, right? Like in 1974, it feels like this is kind of predating the earliest stuff of Rush, or like at bare minimum what Rush was probably listening to as they were like the young kids in Canada, like learning how to put together their, you know, triumvirate, like before Neil era Rush. He hasn't invented Windows Vista yet. Got it. The drums are nice. So you get this really mega pop and snare, this kind of in the middle of there, creating this really gnarly tension, and then listen to the stereo panning of the drums thereafter. There. The double bends on the guitar. The drums. It definitely even has kind of like a Tony Iommi guitar tone kind of flavor to it. Like, you know, some early Zappa not Zappa, some early Sabbath kind of sounds to it. Like but without like without quite as like metally a sound. Like you don't have Tony's metal fingertips on the guitar kind of sound, but there's definitely a huge element of like that crunch tone. It feels being borrowed from what you hear Tony Iommi do. Besides that point, didn't think Yes was challenging him enough as a drummer, so he left to join King Crimson for Larks, Tongues, and Aspic, 2 albums before this. Got it. I've got to say, it's crazy to me to think that Yes wasn't challenging somebody enough, because I have stated many times I think that Yes is kind of like quintessential prog to me, even if King Crimson invented it. But this is hearing how much noise is coming out of this 3-piece right now is really just kind of blowing my dink off. And that bass sound. I think what it is about is about the bass sound is that you have this like slide happening, or like it's not a bend unless if it is a bend, it's like the tastiest, one of the coolest bends concept I've ever heard in bass. But I think it's just that it's got this kind of slide up and down, and it's done high up on the neck, and it kind of punches through in like almost a treble signal, but you know it's a bass because of the way it's played. But just hearing that, it's really, 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 really good. It's really one of the most uplifting and drawing things about this song, honestly. And it absolutely feels like this is a Rush prototype. Whoa. The strings? The guitar too? It's like he's doing volume tricks. Ah, yeah. What a... There's a tension and release moment to that, but it's like there's also like I didn't get jump scared, but there is a little bit of a jump scare of rock and roll there kind of moment. Are you saying Masters as in, are you giving me a Sabbath reference? Because I could totally kind of connect what you're saying there. Is Fluff, when you say Masters, are you trying to give me a Sabbath reference by saying that part reminded you? Because if so, I'm smoking what you're selling. Right here. Oh, masters of their craft. Yeah. yeah. I wasn't actually sure if you were making like a Masters of Reality comparison, or if you were just being colloquial with it, saying masters, or if you were saying that these guys were masterful at what they were doing. But I do hear, with that giant bang of rock and roll guitar sound, I do, yes, it is both. Thank you. That was a fuzz bass with this is a bass with the double bend. Oh, strings, thank you. I see what you're saying. Okay, this is the part, listen for the bass, because they're doing the thing. My nose is so itchy from allergies, it's driving me crazy, and I don't have like a tissue or anything, or like a paper towel or anything, so if I'm just like actively scratching my nose for a couple of moments until like I get to an ad break or something, just forgive me. Or if you watch me wipe boogers on my sleeve, forgive me, just for the time being, okay? Exactly. That bass part, though. Because I'm not sick, and you only sick people get to use tissues, because that's a special thing. The guitar tones here are so nice. W's for my wife, though, by the way. I really love the soaring nature to this. I don't know. You know, Matt, I don't know. I'm sitting here now. You've got me thinking about that. I'm going to have to think kind of hard about this. When you say split and panned, which strings are panned where, just so I'm picking up what you're putting down? High strings on the left side? I don't know. What are they doing to get this noise? Is that an octave pedal? This was so interesting. It sounds so much more high tech on the guitar front than what was commonly available in that time period. In like 1974. It's a totally different ball game. Love you. It's a very, very, very different kind of sound than what you might normally hear in this time period. It feels like he took it feels like guitar signals were done MIDI in some of these parts, but I don't think that they were. So I'm not quite sure I don't know how he did it. The other thing being, this is a 3-piece, and you're saying that they never really toured. Fripp seems to have been like a notoriously difficult guy to work with. But I don't understand. Is it like difficult in the same way that Captain Beefheart, or the front of that was difficult to work with? Like, what kind of difficulties are we talking about? I will say, every single King Crimson video I've ever done, I've had to file a counter notification on. So it's very possible that this video ends up taking a very long time to actually get posted onto YouTube. So I can believe that he is a difficult person in general, but I definitely not to the degree of Beefheart. Got it. Very demanding and particular. What did Fripp did Baloo ever say anything about working with Fripp? I'm kind of interested. It seems like this guy has like kind of disbanded and rebanded the band a good many times based on just lore that I'm hearing through comment section and stuff. So yeah, definitely let me know what you guys know. It's kind of easily insulted, or at least sounds like that. Whoa! That really kind of zoomed in there. Okay, I have a question about this, the cello sounding thing here. And the other thing, let me know what you know about the recording process. Is this heavily overdubbed? Are they playing together in a room, after, and capturing lightning in a bottle? Because of the amount of editing and modulating and some of this stuff, I don't know how much of it they're doing live versus how much is studio magic as well. But I've seen Fripp do enough stuff with people to know that they can capture the sound live. So I'm there are overdubs over basic backing tracks. Okay, was recorded with not many overdubs, I think. Definitely let me know. This sound of cello though, how are they doing it? And then getting the Floydy kind of sounding vocals. I like that sound. Love this sound. West side skyline crying for an angel dying, risk a life to make a dime. The guitar sounds like these little harmonic boom boom kind of sounds, and they just have this really, really, really wonderful kind of sustain that for a harmonic is actually kind of a long time. Like besides that, it's a totally different kind of King Crimson than I've heard. And honestly, when I'm comparing this to what I heard in the Court of King Crimson, I just find that this is maybe a little bit more digestible and in my alley. It's got this kind of jazzy thing. It's got this kind of folky thing. It's got this kind of like almost parts of it remind me of Steely Dan a little bit, but then other parts of it remind me a little bit of like, elements of prog, elements of psychedelia. It's I love that part. Lifetime spent on the streets of the city make us the people we are. Switchblade stings in 1/10 of a moment. Better get back to the car. Listen to that guitar tone. 2, 3, 4, 5. Like you've got Fripp playing a guitar tone or a guitar part that is not in the same time as the rest of the band, so it creates this really cool kind of tension to the song, and eventually you'll hear it line up. It sounds to me like one is a 6 and one is a 4. So my guess is in 4 measures they'll line up. Dude. Are they? drums. And the horns. You've got this do 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 do. There's this beautiful repetition that's kind of met with this exploration on the other side, right? Like you've got some things that are very much like then there's a lot of parts in here to pick apart. I'm really, really, really excited about it because it's like you really can't. What's up, Matt? And then like a guitar mini? 69. Nice. We get like an early stages of metal guitar mini? Are you kidding me? And what is that noise? Listen to the guitar part. And this fallen angel part. The transitionary tone of this guitar. I want to call attention to this. Listen to the drum pan, okay? You go from the left to the right drum pan. It sounds like you're sitting in the dead center. In the drum throne when you hear this drum part come in, and it comes in after this down, 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 down. This real poppy, like almost a kind of bridge pickup sound. This is my favorite King Crimson sound, by far. It is. You just get lost in their jam there, dude. Dude, are they just playing two chords when they're doing this jam thing and kind of exploring that just hypnotic like repetition? Because they do this kind of thing where they kind of just let Bruford just fly, you know? I really find that this is the closest thing to King Crimson. Like Monte Kudasai hit me in a very, very, very different way, right? But this was very much like the most daily driverable sound for me that I've heard of out of King Crimson. Like this had very much kind of Floydy vibes in some points, but also very different vibes. Like it sounds like MIDI before MIDI was really happening in a huge way in rock and roll. And it sounds like more specifically MIDI was happening on the guitar, but I don't think it was. I really think that it was just these really weird like it sounded like he was getting really computery noises out of his guitar, but I can only imagine that he was just making, apparently he relinquished a lot of his usual control for this album and it shows. Okay, huh. This, I mean, truly, this has been, I mean, this might have just taken the place of my recency bias considered. So that grain of salt coming to mind. When you say MIDI, what does that mean to you? I'm saying it feels like he's making his guitar a controller to make these sounds like that wouldn't really sound the way a guitar would, right? Like he can make his guitar make like trumpety noises or different like keyboard sounds. I guess is kind of what it turn a guitar into a trumpet. Yeah. So it sounds like I'm hearing these kind of arcadey noises that I can identify sound like they're being played like a guitar, but they sound kind of like computery. And so it makes me feel like that. Like, and I feel like Jerry Garcia kind of did that, like sometimes with like Mutron combinations, with like a phaser and some reverb and some envelope his envelope filters or whatever. But it kind of in line with guitar noses on the down, and again, I feel like when I heard the Friptronic-y stuff, this feels very early stages of that. Like this feels like these noises are kind of walking so that Friptronics could run, if that makes any sense to you at all. It was the first to really use MIDI guitar live. Yeah, I've heard that. But I think this really feels like, I think Floyd probably heard this and thought that they could learn something from the sounds that they gathered here. I also think the same thing about Rush. Hearing the way Fripp uses the guitar as a tool, as well as just being incredibly skilled with the axe, is really awesome. I mean, he really is a virtuosic guitar player, but he's also kind of one of those guys that explores the technological limits of the guitar, and it's very obvious in his approach that he wants to apply his genius not only to the virtuosic way he plays the guitar, but to the way he like designs the sound that he makes with that virtuosic nature. It also feels like there's just no way in the drum sound, like I definitely kind of feel, and maybe it's just because somebody said for me to listen to it, but like it does feel like Tool absolutely, like the characters, the musicians in Tool absolutely heard this album. Like some of the ways that they go into, like when they went into that 6 timing, for example, and you hear them kind of do that and then transition out of that, like those transitionary pieces were very much reminiscent of it. But then it felt like the line where prog rock met psychedelic rock without really either of them going too overboard into one another. Like it didn't really lean too hard into either side. And I liked that. I feel like this is a really good blend. And dude, I mean, honestly, I don't know why this wasn't a bigger this album wasn't a bigger deal to me in my circles. Like I feel like this is absolutely something I should have heard of well before. This is really good. Oh. Kind of a jazzy drum happening here. Kind of Zappa-y here too.
Just sitting musing the virtue tension dropping, my ears slowly popping. One more red nightmare.
The transitionary the pieces. Dun 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 dun. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Is that 9? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 8? What not? What is it? What is that time? Sorry, Clarky yelled at me. Give me a moment. Oh, I got it. Ego counting. Never count, just 7, 8 plus 4, 4 for this part. Really? Oh. Yo, and Katharma, welcome to the Rooskies. Thank you for coming by. And honestly, the Butthole Surfers, definitely somebody I'm kind of looking into. Mel and I heard a song randomly that came up on like a just, I don't even remember what song it was, but she was like, what song is this? Like, I don't know, but this is the Butthole Surfers, and a lot of people tell me I need to listen to them. So if this reminds you of that, that's exciting to me. And I love time signatures that are weird. If you're one of those people that just say don't care, understand, we aren't really that concerned about it for any other reason than we think it's cool. It's not like it really matters. We just think it's cool and the numbers matter to us.
So making as it poured down my neck as I turned around, I heard 14 shouting, hey, our food is outing. A farewell from some sea, now I tell you this can be. The steward made me, but the captain forbade.
Who's responsible? Who's responsible for lyrics in the King Crimson works? Like, is Fripp is Fripp purely a composer? Like, is he the reason we have the music? How much actual like collaboration is there with this guy? Oh, listen to the drums, the bass, and the guitar all doing something different. And the claps, too. Oh. So you get the saxophone coming in, almost giving you, but not quite, but not necessarily a great gig in the sky kind of moment. Or no, an any color you like kind of moment. No, man, maybe a great gig in the sky kind of moment. But just a little bit, not a lot of it. Bam, 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 bam. And you've kind of got the claps and the guitar kind of playing off of one another in similar time signatures, but you've got that clap just waiting like a little bit too longer than you want it to. A little bit maybe in the bass. I can kind of hear that Shine on You Crazy Diamond and the doon doo 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 doo. The drums. drummer is unreal, this song. It feels like Primus also probably heard this album. Like, you hear these transitions, it kind of gives you like a jazz, like it gives you the early phases of like what I would imagine becomes jazz metal later. Like going from this to that, and then that cracked cymbal. I love that.
Reality stirred me, my angel.
See, but they just come in with these abrupt like transitions going from like one to the other, and it like going when you get that reality stirred me part, right? Right before that, you're here, and then you're still doing that dun 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 da 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 da.
Reality stirred me, my angel had heard me. The prayer had been answered, the breath had been granted. The dream is now broken, the rudely awoken. Release safe and sound, asleep on the Greyhound. One more and I'm there.
So I did Thick as a Brick. So he does have like an envelope filter on this guitar. I don't know quite what it is, but you've got that bow, 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 bow kind of thing. It's so nice. You're telling me that doesn't remind you of the Dark Side album? Which came after this, I might add. Dark Side happened after this, which I might add. The whole thing about this, I'm going to bring it back because this has really been just such an amazing part. And it absolutely changes my opinion on the way I think about the song A Great Gig in the Sky. Dark Side happened in 75. This happened in October 6th, 1974. Dark Side happened on 1973. Oh, I'm a dink. I'm sorry. I was getting it mixed up. You know what I was thinking of was, hang on, maybe I'm also a dink on Wish You Were Here. I was thinking Wish You Were Here is 1975. Okay. Yeah. That's where my brain was. I am a dink. It doesn't change my opinion of it. Forgive me. Yes. Okay. I feel like I shouldn't. You guys get what I'm saying. Anyways, this song has, without question, this album, by the way, without question, my favorite favorite review of King Crimson so far. Hearing the way that they have operated, the way that they have transitioned, the way that they have gone about their lyrics. Honestly, hearing Fripp's guitar work, like the way he does these like arpeggiated triads as he goes through in these kind of like as kind of both a hybrid of rhythm and lead as they're going through these parts. Like, listen, not. Right here, the arpeggiated triads. The drums. So the guitar, it's like got this like intentionally dissonant pause. You want it to go but it goes It's maddeningly cool. Man, they didn't even have to board fade it. They just went. They crash landed it is what they did in a vacuum. They crash landed in a vacuum, and that was a really cool way to end the song. I mean, dude, this is easily by far the last two songs have without question been my favorite King Crimson songs by far. Like Mate Kudasai is a cool song, but this is just a different level of like, and it hits me a lot closer to the things I would just naturally want to listen to, right? Like I would easily get my guitar and just jam to this and play along with it and try to learn the parts from Fripp and like I'll try to add my own little pizzazzy zazz to it. You know, like this is the kind of music that like you learn a lot about the guitar by playing along with. And that's really like I think for me kind of the makings of what makes music good to me, right? Like do I want to get my guitar out and play it and play along and learn the pieces and learn the little bit of the characteristics that make the song the song? And to me, that's exciting. With Mate Kudasai, I can remember being amazed with Baloo, right? Like why? Because I watched that live performance, and I was impressed with his charisma and the way he utilized the guitar as a tool, doing those volume swells and things, like that, like making the animal sounds with his guitar. Like that was really, really, really cool to me. But the way Fripp is utilizing his sounds here, this has just easily been my favorite version of this. I really, really, really enjoy this. We've got two songs to go, and I've got to run an ad, so I'm going to do that. But guys, so far we're 3 for 3, so this is off to a fantastic start. Here we go. Be right back. hopping back in. And the next one is called Providence. Here we go. This next track is a concert recording of a free improvisation by Casey's previous 4-piece lineup live in Providence, Rhode Island. Is this a guitar or is this somebody playing a violin? David Cross violin. And in case, before you come in here swinging your shots at me about guitars don't sound like violins, listen to many different guitar players that do this, but understand that, like, you can absolutely achieve a violin sound with a guitar. Phil Keaggy makes a career, or made a big chunk of his career out of it. The guy from Glass Harp, fantastic at doing stuff like that. But neither here nor there. This one's obviously a violin. Yo, thank you a ton, Idiomagic. Tim Reynolds, like from Dave? Boingo Boingo's in the hopper already. This is really fun. It kind of sounds like it reminds me of this scene in the movie Tombstone where they're watching the actors that come to town do a performance of Faust making a deal with the devil. And I know it's a very specific scene in a movie, but I can hear the explanation, that's Faust, and he's going to make a deal with the devil in my head from that movie. If that I know that's kind of nuts, but it's super cool to me to think that this is a free improv and it's just an instrumental track with some weird name, but it's just what they were doing together on stage, chilling in Rhode Island, and they, I guess, named it after the man. By the way, one of my all-time favorite movies is called Outside Providence, and it's got Alec Baldwin in it. And it's a coming of age stoner classic. If you want a good movie to watch and you haven't seen it, Outside Providence, watch it. Thank me later. What's up, Thrill Jockey? Welcome to the Rooskies. Back. Crescendo. Is this Fripp making these noises? That's a bass, I guess? Flute mellotron sounds. Is this the same Mellotron that we got from Genesis? You hear the percussion? It's like they borrowed Ruth. And this chaotic dissonance here on the guitar. Who's playing drums here? Is that also Bruford? Okay. The tuned percussion would be Bruford. Thank you. I know it's not Ruth. I'm just saying it. Da 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 da. Butt chin. Listen to the sustain. What was this? Okay, so you had that guitar sustain, but was Fripp making the other chaotic guitar noises while sustaining one string and kind of like muffin intentionally the other stuff on purpose to create the dissonance? Or was that two different instruments altogether? Some of these swelling noises are... The drums! Think about the context of this. To think about this in the context of this being an improvisation is actually really tremendous to me. Because again, when you hear some of these things that happen, like some of the bass guitar interactions with the feedback that Fripp is running, with the delicacy of the strings, and the dynamics of it all going from loud to soft and kind of playing off of one another in like a call and response kind of way. It's very, very, very interesting. How does Red rank up compared to other Crimson albums? Big Brown era Phil Lesh, though. It just doesn't even... A little bit of Mahavishnu Orchestra. Bro, it's so nice. This has been really good. I gotta be honest, this is without a doubt the best thing from King Crimson I've heard so far. And like, I think that In the Court of King Crimson was perhaps the album that did more in the way of making ripples in the scene of music and did more to change music as a whole, right? It was maybe the bigger catalyst album, sure. But as far as albums I like better, I think Red just takes the cake for me. I really do. And it's a different kind of adventure. It's a less in your face kind of adventure. It feels like it learned how to be a little bit more laid back, while also in some ways being a little bit more avant-garde and a little bit less in your face somehow about it, right? And I don't know if it's that I'm appreciating that they haven't had as many lyrical takes here, and that the ones that they've had have been a bit more dreamy, a little bit easier on the things. Maybe it's that the subject matter isn't nearly the same kind of like intense kind of subject matter, right? But I feel, and okay, so yeah, I don't know. I feel like In the Court of King Crimson, again, was just a different kind of catalyst than this is. This is just not that I have to justify why I like this one better, as if like, I don't know. I feel like I have to pay In the Court of King Crimson a tremendous amount of respect because of the album that it is. And I don't want people to think I'm dunking on the album because it's a friggin' fantastic album. I just find that I like this one better. And again, I'm the guy that says metal is a top 3 Pink Floyd album. So like, understand, I'm coming from a position of having hot takes when it comes to prog rock, right? Just, it is what it is. Okay, and the final song and the longest song is Starless. And this is the one that I'm told is like the humdinger of the album. It's time. Okay, so this is... Love this vibe coming in. Definitely has a shine on you crazy diamond kind of vibe with the atmosphere. And he's playing a Les Paul? Kind of sounds like a Strat a little bit, honestly. Like that the bridge, the neck pickup on a Strat a little bit. So is it a gold top Les Paul? Because if it's a gold top Les Paul, that would be, it's a Black Beauty. Okay, the reason I'm saying that is because if it does have the P90s in it, it would make sense that it sounds a little bit closer to a Strat because technically P90s are but they're technically single coils, is my understanding. Guitar nerds, feel free to correct me. Like P90s are single coils, but single coils are not P90s, is my understanding. So feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. I want to be corrected. I'd like to have correct information. I'm not trying to spread disinformation. And if I can find a really good answer that stops me from spreading disinformation, I will pin that comment, whatever. But I do think that this does have kind of like a David Gilmour-y sound and echoes. Like it does have a little bit of that, the standard black Stratocaster sound to it. But yeah, P90s are single coils. Yeah. But if he's playing a Black Beauty, that would be Black Beauties have 3 humbuckers in them, don't they? Like it's got the 3. It's like the black guitar, gold hardware, and 3 gold humbuckers. Am I wrong? If it's a Black Beauty, that is. Yeah, it's 3 P90s. Okay. Does he have an envelope filter? I'm going to respect the song and start it all over, because I know I've been a douche for just starting and restarting. But there's so many different parts about this. Like when I say it sounds like he has a MIDI guitar thing going on, it sounds like he's making kind of like 8-bitty video gamey noises with his guitar. But I feel like it's because of the way he kind of alters the attack, and it makes me wonder if he's got some kind of filter on it. But then I don't think that they were like MIDI-ing things here yet with the guitar. So I don't know. It makes me feel really excited about the guitar tones, because they're exciting. They're different for what the time period is. This is already just an exciting adventure of a song. I love that sound. The bell work on the ride here. Bruford's drumming is just tasty. To my knowledge, I've never heard of a P90 humbucker. I don't know that I don't think the magnets work that way.
Sundown, dazzling day.
Ooh.
Go through my eyes, but my eyes turn within, only see starless and bubble glass.
Wow. Wow. Oh, man, that lyric. Sundown, dazzling day, gold through my eyes, but my eyes turned within, only see starless and Bible black. Oh. And yeah, you have that sax coming in. Man.
Down, dazzling day, go.
Bible Black, Starless and Bible Black reminds me of this idea. It's like, to me, it gives me this idea of this concept of like you're stricken with the dark side of guilt or something, like in your like, or your principles or your belief systems, or like, or you know, the things that you fear about those things. Wow.
Through my eyes, but my eyes turned within.
Oh, I did not know that. Oh, I love to hear that.
Starless and Bible black. Old friend, charity, cruel, twisted smile.
Okay, so it does look like Fripp had humbuckers instead of P90s, which again tracks. If he's playing a Black Beauty, it would have 3 humbuckers in it, is the way my brain would work. But you know, I've been wrong before. This Starless and Bible Black concept is huge. It's got somehow both like a Dark Side and a Wish You Were Here vibe, with the sax kind of coming in and the atmosphere of the Mellotron thing happening. It really just, again, to think that this is 3 guys is really exciting to me.
And the smile signals emptiness for
This is 4 guys, not 3. Got it.
Starless and Bible black.
Dude. The drums. I have 2 guitars that are electric in this house. This one has humbuckers. This one has P90s.
Ice blue, silver sky fades into gray.
I feel like the delicate guitar solo lead moments here that you have, again, with this sound that kind of feels like it's, 8-bit before we really hear 8-bit sounds in the forefront. But you've also got like it sounds like really just soft playing on loud guitars, but just in a good mix to where it's not too present. But again, it kind of leads things. And then yeah, you have the strings that kind of provide this like really structured atmosphere to it.
Hope that ends to be. Starless and
Bible blood. That he just gets Bible blood. Like he gets huge.
and Bible black.
And then the bass. Uncle Bert, that's actually a very good way to put that. This album has had 3 songs that have made me think that I've heard my new favorite King Crimson song. And that sound just panned left to right ear, like it just walks right by us. Fallen Angel, One More Red Nightmare, both seemed like they were going to be my favorite. And then we get Starless, and this is immediately right up there. Listen to this. Whee! Left to right ear. Unreal. Welcome to the Rooskies. Smash. The bass is kind of leading the charge here in the melody. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. You hear the wood block? The poly... Is this polymeters? And polyrhythms? This is so tool-coated. Bro! The wood block is still going. What? They're gonna line up. The double bends. I have to pause it. This is clearly the part of the album that people come for. This is clearly the part of the album that people wanted all of us to hear. This has been one of my favorite moments of prog rock ever. This has been one of the things that makes prog rock so amazing. Attention and release build up. And you felt it getting closer and 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 closer to just setting off, and then bingo, bango. It's like that slingshot's just getting pulled back just further and further and further and further and further. And you just eventually you're getting to that point, and then there's just this beautiful moment where, and then it just that's like what this song does. And I gotta be honest, man, it kept juicing us and it kept juicing us and it kept juicing us. But then again, we're like at this point, and then the music just really cool moment, man. I really, 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 really liked this. I honestly, this was my favorite part of the album without question. I'm going to take it back a good chunk so we can kind of just, there was an element of like being on a roller coaster, kind of going up backwards, like knowing that there's this giant 90-degree angle that you're about to go down, but you can't see it because you're just on this hill looking down this way. And like, eventually you're going to drop down 90 degrees, but you're just waiting for the noise to go away. Unreal. This is the best King Crimson song I've heard by far. This is incredible. There has not been a sound from King Crimson that has excited me as much as this, outside of potentially that very first time I saw Baloo play guitar and make the seagull noises. Everything about this is nuts. The drums. Primus, without question, heard this and thought, I want to do that. The double bends. And the jazzy thing with the sax. And it almost feels like it does a little bit of a kind of homage to 12-bar blues with that moment, that little walk down, but it's in like double time 13/8 or something. What? Huh? Like that part? Like that part right there, you see the 12-bar blues homage? The hi-hat work. The bass. kind of feels like it borrows from Edgar Winter Group there, like a Frankenstein-esque sort of transition there. You know what I mean? Going into that dun dun dun. That. Black MIDI, guys. Heard this. And then the sax at the end. That bass tone, the fuzzy bass. And the big string moment, the mellotron. Wow. This album is really right up there in contention with one of the best prog rock albums I have ever heard. And you know, this is coming hot off of me listening to Yes again not too long ago, right? Like, and honestly, as I'm thinking about this, like Red certainly is kind of sitting in a place where I feel like the argument is there. I said Close to the Edge by Yes was what became my favorite prog rock album, and I would say that that's still probably up there. You know, and again, that's considering Floyd is in a league of its own. And you know, Prog Rush is I think you know, awesome, but there are different eras of Rush that I like better. Though I do think By Tor and the Snow Dog is probably my favorite like Rush sound. But recency bias, it could be. I think that this particular album was an easy 5 for 5 songs. This is without question better to me as a digestible taste album than In the Court of King Crimson. I don't think I'm gonna go out of my way and say that this is like a better album than that, because again, I think that it's fair to say that the ripple that In the Court of the Crimson King made, it was probably potentially bigger than the ripple that Red made, as far as the catalyst of inspiration of music it served as. But this album was certainly something that stood out to me. I mean, I feel like any guitar player could really learn a lot about just jamming in this album. I mean, the way that you hear it incorporated, you know, with like Fripp's use of triads, with his kind of you know, the softness that he plays with, the delicacy that he plays with in some parts, but then the ability to transition. I feel like if you want to get good at or get familiar with trying to learn how to transition time signatures in songs, this would be really fun stuff to play along with. But more than that, I feel like this was just an easier lyrical listen. The instrumentals kept you captivated, excited. It felt like instrumentals you could go out, like I would go out of my way to listen to. You know, not every instrumental you hear is an instrumental you'd go out of your way to listen to, whereas this was that. And again, so many of these sounds to come out in 1974. Um, um, yeah, way ahead of their time. I'm certainly interested. Tell me more about what you guys think of King Crimson. I think Discipline is one that I'm certainly interested in because I was very much fell in love with Mate Kudasai, but I don't know. I also heard Elephant Talk, which was not the same kind of song as Mate Kudasai. And honestly, I would say that I liked almost all of the songs on this better than I liked Mate Kudasai, as much as I liked that song. And in the in the Court of the Crimson King, I mean, realistically speaking, Moonchild, like, I mean, it's really good. But I think that this is a totally different kind of experience, and yeah. I guess to get to hear the fingerprints that this album left on other music that I listen to is really exciting. Um, uh, it's kind of crazy to me to think that, like, I was listening to bands that were certainly contemporaries with King Crimson, but just had no idea the impact or really the sounds that these guys were making it really until recently. Um, it's a journey I'm very excited to be on. There's absolutely going to be more King Crimson featured on the channel. There's no doubt about it, guys. For those of you that listened along to this album with me for the first time, what did you think of it? I'm clearly very positive. This was a 5 for 5 for me, without even the slightest bit of reconsideration. Guys, I love you. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much for the positivity that you show both to me and to one another. Continue to be the best. And until I see you next, be introspective and consider the birds. Goodbye.